Hello, everybody. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Welcome back to the trading table. Today is Sunday, and we're going to be going over some things to watch, some stocks that moved over the weekend, and much more. We have a very busy schedule this week, so be sure to keep up with the videos as we're going to be making a lot of money this week. I can promise you that. Looking at our heat map here for SPY, on Friday, finished pretty neutral, some green, some red. I'm pretty sure they were more red than green, which is completely fine as SPY reached all-time highs. We're kind of due for a pullback sooner or later so that the market keeps its health, right? As you can see here, SPY reached 531 on the 16th of May. It was a Thursday. And looking over here now, we could see that SPY kind of chopped around all day on Friday with a very strong pullback here all the way down to 527 before coming back up and finishing at 529. We are up in the pre-market, right? The aftermarket, but we will be watching the pre-market to see if we, can see any action of volatility, right? Because if you have been watching for a while now, you know that whenever you do see a gap up in the pre-market, right, there will be volatility. It implies that there is volatility, and that gap does need to fill. So definitely going to be watching that here for this week, and I'll tell you why in a second. Let's go over to NVIDIA here. Right, NVIDIA had a nice peak this week at 958 before braiding down to the 923 level on Friday. Closed. It's staying pretty neutral right now, but I think that some NVIDIA calls this week would be great, and you sell them right before earnings. Right, there's going to be a giant hype train of buyers coming in for these NVIDIA earnings. And I can definitely see a hype train forming all the way back up to this peak or maybe even higher. So we'll look for entry at open on Monday. If we see anything, it will be in our Discord. If you guys haven't joined that already, link is in the description. It's completely free. We have a community and we make plays. We make money. You know what I mean? Jumping into FXI now. This is like the SPY for China stocks, right? It's a large cap ETF. So that means that large market cap companies that are based out of China are in this ETF, right? And you can look up like the makeup for this or whatever. Baba is a notable one. JD, Billy, those types of stocks are notable for this, right? If we look at FXI here, we're at an all-time, not an all-time high, but like a 3-month high, right? We've seen some substantial growth over these 3 months here. We did have a peak on Friday of 29.53, but this is holding very strong. And if we're looking at Baba here, right, Baba is going very high right now too. And I'm going to say this once, I'm going to say it again. I told you guys to pick up shares right here, and now we're sitting at this calm 88 level, right? That was a great call out. If you did pick up shares, you could have increased your portfolio by over 15% in just 3 days, which is awesome. And if you played calls on this, man, I like those contracts probably boomed, right? Baba is a great China stock, right? They pumped this, not this stock specifically, but the whole Chinese market full of money. They had a huge stimulus going into the market. So a lot of investors are bullish on the China market right now. But for now, Baba is sitting pretty high. So if you do want to enter, I'd wait for a pullback. We'll definitely be looking at this over in the Discord as well. Jumping over to GLD now, or the SPDR Gold Trust. You can see that gold is also at an all-time high, right? Gold peaked at 223.66, and gold is booming right now. This does tend to move in an opposite correlation to the dollar. So when the dollar weakens, gold does good. I can see the dollar weakening here soon in these next few weeks. So definitely keep an eye on gold for some plays, right? We're at all-time highs on nearly everything as looking at it from a macroeconomic perspective. But gold is definitely something to watch here as the dollar kind of hasn't been doing good recently, right? Jumping over to our economic calendar now, we can see we've got a lot going on this week. So 3 stars means that it can impact the market the most, right? And 1 star obviously means it doesn't really impact the market as much. So I did filter out the 1 star. That's why there's none here. There were some here, but I filtered those out so we could see what really will move the market. So Sunday we had Powell speak. Didn't really move the market too much, right? Wednesday we have existing home sales, crude oil inventories, and Fed meeting, right? There's a lot of Fed meetings this week. I think there's over 15 Fed meetings. I'd have to recount that, but I'm pretty sure it's over 15 Fed meetings, right? So a lot of opportunity for the market to move, and definitely something to keep an eye on. Jumping over to earnings now, we can see that we have PDD reporting before open on Wednesday, Lowe's before open on Tuesday, Zoom after close on Monday, right? But the big boy down here, NVIDIA, is reporting after close on Wednesday. This is going to be something to watch. NVIDIA moves, the S&P 500 moves. So, NVIDIA is forecasted to have a good earnings, but in my opinion, the hype training leading up to earnings will just cause NVIDIA to fall no matter what, right? NVIDIA has high expectations, and, if it, jumps up too high, gets overvalued, it could definitely drop for earnings. So I wouldn't gamble earnings. Please do not gamble the earnings. That is literally like going to a blackjack table and just saying hit me over and over and over again. But definitely play the momentum after, right? With the BABA, if we jump back over to that chart real quick for BABA, right? As you can see here, earnings happened, right? We had a dip. Told you guys you should pick up some shares here, and it came back up. That's what we should really be doing for NVIDIA here. You don't want to just gamble because it could move either way, right? We do have Billy reporting on before open on Thursday. This is another China stock. Should be moving nicely. And BEKE, I'm pretty sure this is a China stock. Not really heard of them before. Medtronic, they were in our dividend video yesterday, so be sure to check that out. They're reporting as well. Could get some good entry here if their earnings is bad for a long-term hold. But other than that, earnings is kind of quiet besides NVIDIA, and definitely something to look at. Jumping over to Landon now.
Yeah, so after a great week for our big money plays, here are some of the big money plays we're still keeping eyes on. For our first, we have for ticker symbol SMH at a strike price of $235. It's a call with an expiration date of 6/21/2024. There's a total number of 2.01 million premiums stacked up here. That's a crazy amount. So we definitely want to watch that. And then it also has a total volume of 3.07K. But we also want to make sure we want to find the correct entry, right? We don't want to jump in too fast just because we see a lot of money going into one spot at, a certain time. And then for our next one, we have for ticker symbol MDB. It's a call. It's at a strike price of 415 with an expiration date of 5/31/2024. There's a total premium count of 519K. And then a total volume, which is pretty low, so this is why we want to watch this. It's a total volume of 502, right? So we definitely want to watch that one. And then our last one we're watching is for ticker symbol TLT, right? It's a call with a strike price of 92 with an expiration date of 6/21/2024. There's a total premium account of 870K stacked up here, and then with a total volume of 7.27K. I'm really loving these big money plays. Let's go ahead and dominate the market for another week in a row. Back to you, Andrew.
Yeah, Landon. Personally, I did hop in this TLT play. Didn't do too good at first. I thought that it was going to chop out and kind of squeeze here based on the RSI information, but it did hop back down a little bit. I am not worried at all about TLT, right? I keep really loose stop losses on these big money plays as long as there's no abnormal volume or selling pressure, right? So TLT, if you hopped in on this in our Discord on Friday, don't get scared or anything, right? We'll see a rise soon. I'm sure of it. These options have a pretty decent amount of time to them, so definitely seeing it back up. The only thing that does kind of bother me is it is on a downtrend right now, but new week, new TLT, right? And we're kind of also banking because this is a bond ETF, right? And bonds and stocks move opposite to each other. So SPY does bad, bonds do good, right? Bonds do bad, S&P 500 does good, or just the stock market in general, right? So SPY hit all-time highs, right? So I can kind of see why the big money did file into this because, we're due for a pullback here. We can't stay at all-time highs forever. That's very unhealthy for the market if we just keep rising and rising and rising. So we are banking on a pullback here, and bonds could see some nice growth to the upside. So we'll be keeping an eye on TLT. Jumping back to MDB real quick. The reason why the volume is probably very low for this one is because the options premiums are absurdly expensive, right?
Yeah, Andrew, they're super high right now. I think the price is around 4,800 with an expiration date in September. So yeah, that's most likely why the volume is so low.
Yeah, it's absurdly high. So, I'm not going to be playing this one personally just because I'm not trying to dump that much into an options contract. But, if you want to, feel free. We'll be keeping up with this, and it's definitely something to watch for sure. But that's all for today on this Sunday. Thank you so much for tuning into the trading table. This has been Andrew and Landon, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at Market Open.